Hi, and welcome back to Buzz Banter. I'm Mo.
And I'm Sam.
And we come to you today to talk about what everyone loves talking about, gaming business practices, market shares, and the buying and selling of things you love.
It's actually more about just the downfall of an industry.
Oh, sorry.
So anyways, THQ, as you know, has gone Chapter 11. They've been, thanks to the U-Draw tablet, or as rumor has it, thanks to the U-Draw tablet, they kind of went bankrupt.
Let's make a tablet that you can draw things on. Like every tablet. Why would... Screw it.
So anyways, they just got auctioned off. I believe we mentioned this in one of our previous videos, that they were going to be auctioned off, and well, it happened.
So, we're just going to be talking about some of the notable stuff and where it went to. I'm a huge Dawn of War fan. I'm a huge fan of Relic Entertainment and the fine work that they do with real-time strategy games.
Company of Heroes.
Yep, Company of Heroes is among them. They got bought out by Sega, the people that own the license to the incredibly popular and very well-made Total War series. So you have an RTS developer that does sort of innovative, changing up the game face of what RTSs have done for years and years and years, alongside the makers of the Total War series, who make some of the best traditional RTSs over the course of years and years and years.
So next in our news, a little bit of a interesting one. Volition, makers of Red Faction and Saints Row, were bought up by I guess you would say the underdogs here. Koch Media, or Coach, or it's...
Conch?
I don't know, but they're a media company that owns the developers, the publisher Deep Silver. Deep Silver is basically only known for Dead Island. It's their only million-unit selling game. The next one, I believe, was Crytek was making Homefront 2 for them. They ended up buying it for the cheapest amount, which was $500,000.
Yeah, because Homefront was a piece of crap game that had a lot of hype, which is why it sold, and then people got it, and they put it in their systems, and then went, wait, this is a piece of crap game.
And some people liked it. Hopefully they can do it a lot better now that they actually own it and aren't just makers of it. Ubisoft was actually a pretty big one. They got South Park, the Stick of Truth.
Yeah, that's the big one that got Sam happy. Like, you called me at midnight with that one, going, they got it!
The other interesting one was the fact that they also bought THQ Montreal, the other studio that they had, because Patrice, French last name...
Yes, whatever.
Yeah, we Canadians don't care about the French.
So, moving on from the interesting purchases, the interesting that wasn't purchased, namely Darksiders.
And Vigil. The developers of Darksiders. There's been a lot of rumors as to why they haven't been bought up. One of the rumors is that their game just came out. They're not developing anything. Well, actually, they're trying to develop a game codenamed Crawler. And probably it would be a lot of money would have to be put into it, because it's probably a number of years before even being announced.
So there's THQ, and interestingly enough, during this entire debacle and their selling off of everything, Atari, of all people, filed for Chapter 11.
It was to be expected, since all they had was Pong and Pac-Man.
True, but it's kind of sad to see one of the earliest and founding developers of video gaming go belly up. It was kind of a shock to a lot of people, because you have that idea that you grew up with it, so it would always be there.
Well, they were nearly responsible for the video game crash of 1983.
E.T.
Yes.
Could this be actually the beginning of a trend? Because you have THQ, and then very shortly after you have Atari, and they're still following the same business practice. Could we be seeing a couple more developers go the same way? Because THQ and Atari weren't small developers.
It basically comes down to you can't make stupid decisions, because like I said,
exactly.
The U-Draw tablet, although that is technically rumor.
Yeah, fair enough.
But the other reason is that essentially you're just losing the middle gaming tier.
Yeah.
As is with any sort of media, like the middle tier is just disappearing, and THQ is full of the middle tier.
It was, and, well, we'll see what happens next in the gaming markets and everything. So, thank you for listening to our horrifyingly boring business practice model and who's buying whom.
Our unethically racist comments.
That wasn't racist.
It was slightly racist.
Not at all. We just said we were indifferent to the French. How is that racist?
You didn't say indifferent.
Screw you, French. That wasn't even racist.
It was Frenchist.
No, it wasn't anything. Now, if I said that they were a bunch of cheese-loving surrender monkeys, that's racist.
And you just did.
Somewhat. No, I'm quoting George W. Bush. Again, I'm Canadian.
Go eat your freedom fries.
Canadian, okay? Very Canadian.
Colombian.
You get out of my house and you go eat your freedom fries. That's it for us on Buzz Banter.
Bye.